Are you ready to vibe? You're listening to Creepy Vibes Only.
Hello.
Oh, hello!
Comment ça va?
Ah, pas bien et toi?
Ah, ça va bien, ça va bien. Merci. We are here, people. We're back.
We are back again in the calmest city in North America.
Ugh. It's been a not fun time.
Yeah, it's been a really great week of our downtown being full of people doing great things, like assaulting people and waving racist memorabilia around.
It's been a hard week for Ottawa, and we're sorry that we did not publish our last episode last Monday, but we just didn't feel right to publish something while all of that was happening. We had gone through, it was the first weekend of them being there, and it was a hard weekend. So,
and honestly,
go ahead.
And honestly, like when you've got people who are waving things that take away from marginalized and racialized groups, the right thing to do is to turn over voice to those groups. So
yeah,
if you're racist, you can fuck off. Full stop. I hope you guys took some time to listen to some of the podcasts that Steph shared and put together. Listen to people of color. That's the long and short of it. Listen to Indigenous folks. They deserve water. They deserve rights. It's 2022.
It's been a horrifying week, and we are recording this and today's Saturday, so there's meant to be more people showing up. I've been avoiding social media.
I don't know.
I was like when it first started, the first weekend, like I did not sleep at night because I was just like obsessed on Twitter, like trying to see like what was happening. And at one point I was like, I just need to shut off. Because the stories are horrifying. Like this one person, they're near their house, and they were explaining how they have like the trans flag and the pride flag, and they have them all in front of their house. And at night, like 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., someone tried to break in. It was like screaming some really not nice things to them about their sexuality, and it was just horrifying.
100%.
And that's like one story. There's hundreds of stories throughout the weekend, the week, and there's probably going to be more by the time you guys hear this episode.
100%.
It's a very sad time.
And even like the horrifying prejudice stuff aside, like even the people who are just living downtown who are being subjected to what is considered a form of torture.
Yeah.
Like that kind of prevalent noise, like, and the way that it's used to have you not sleep and stuff, like that is considered a form of torture. And people have been living that way for a week, and it's horrible, and they don't deserve it, and it needs to stop.
Yes.
Like it needs to stop. This is not peaceful. Torturing people is not a form of peaceful protest. And shout out to GoFundMe for fucking being like, fuck you, you horrible illegal shits. You're not getting your money. So good for them.
And for like the people, like we have listeners from across the world, so they may not know exactly what's happening, but basically there has been a convoy of trucks that have been on their way to in front of the parliament, and they've pretty much set up house. They're occupying the area and just constantly blasting their horns. They have like a bunch of like mics and speakers, and they're constantly just like screaming and shouting, and the horns are going on. So people, there's constant noise up to like 18 hours or even more a day. So people aren't able to sleep. People are being harassed for wearing a mask just to go to the pharmacy, the grocery stores. People are being assaulted.
Mushu Ice Cream had their fucking store attacked. And then an employee assaulted.
Yeah, an employee assaulted, and then they closed.
Yeah. Like, no matter what side of this you're standing on, and like that's not what I am really here to debate. I mean, obviously Steph and I have been clear on our standpoint. We believe in science. This is not the way to do it. You are punishing thousands of people
who have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, and if you're standing in a group with people who are racist and are doing racist things, the Milo is correct. It's fucked. And if you're, like, I don't know, if as admittedly a bit of a reach and a bit of an analogy, like if I went to a house party and I wouldn't care if that house party was raising, maybe it's a kegger and it's raising money for whatever the fuck, maybe it's cancer research. If I found out the person whose house that was at or the people organizing it had any ties to white nationalists, I'd fucking leave.
Like, I don't know what to say aside from it's not okay. Like every time I think of putting words together, I'm just mentally exhausted. I'm not even there, and I'm mentally exhausted. Like the amount of loss that people have gone through, the residents are living there, the businesses are able. Also, the people from those groups are targeted. Like just watching this in the news, on TV, and social media, and not
it's traumatizing.
And then like for the government and for government bodies kind of being quiet about this, that's not helping. That's not.
It's not good.
No.
Anyways, that's what's keeping us up at night.
Yeah, we're going to skip that part.
That, and I'm still watching Survivor. It is still the best show on television.
I watched the last episode of Below Deck yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got into Big Brother yet? Gotta watch it, man. Okay. Fine. Lamar Odom, I'm so sorry you have IBS and what happened on live TV. That makes me very sad for you.
What happened?
Pooped the bed.
Oh, no.
The bed. I felt really sad for him.
Yeah,
I have not been in that position myself, but like I feel very sad for him. Chronic illness is horrible. Anyways, Steve, speaking of cults, how fitting.
Yes.
Let's kick off where I left off.
Yes, part two.
Seems very fitting these days. Also, not related. If someone could take Kanye West's phone away from him, that would be great. He is going through it.
I don't. I've been like avoiding social media, so I don't really know what you're referring to.
Like, so I obviously, because I talked a bit about last week how I fucking love. I live for reality TV. I find it so entertaining. An obvious, massive reality TV phenomenon was Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which is soon to be the Kardashians on Hulu and Disney Plus, and their horrible behavior with impossible standards of beauty aside, I actually do think Kim is a good mom and clearly like cares about her kids. So North has always seemed to gravitate to social media and like just seems to enjoy it. So Kim, or one of her various peons, manages a TikTok account that is Kim and North doing stuff. And instead of like doing silly dances and stuff, North seems to really enjoy it. Kanye, her soon-to-be ex-husband, fucking does not approve. And is airing all of his grievances online on Instagram. Which, like, and you know what? Like, I'm not going to say whether or not a kid should be on TikTok. I don't know. I'm not a mental health expert or a child care expert or anything by any stretch. What I do know is that you probably shouldn't air things publicly so that your children will not be traumatized by it later on.
Yeah.
After he's already been like, we almost aborted North. Like, did you not hear about that when he was running for president?
No.
Yeah, he talked about how
very not in tune with like the states. I don't really. It's not I don't like you guys. It's just I'm not I don't know.
Steph's just worrying about what's happening locally. There's a lot to worry about locally. So yeah, I'm a media file, so I fucking digest everything. Kanye, I worry for him. His mental health clearly isn't good. Someone's got to take away Kanye's phone because he's gonna do some irreparable damage. Steph, Carolyn, the other Steph, our other friend Steph, our friend Carolyn and I have just been like, oh my gosh, all the last few days, both with what's going on downtown. Also with fucking Kanye needing to put his phone down.
It's very
Anyways,
sad.
let's get back to cults.
Yay! The fun stuff, guys.
So Cosmopolitan magazine, the magazine that teaches you about blowjobs, also put out the 16 scariest cult stories of all time.
Okay. The 16 or 60?
16.
Okay. Size.
Yeah, size.
Okay.
1-6.
Okay.
One less than 17.
Oh.
Scariest cult stories of all time. So I thought we could talk about those today.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't go through all 16 because I don't want this to be a 5-hour episode.
Why not?
Shout out to Cosmo because I'm basically repurposing your hard work. But it's a good curation of different things that you can find anywhere online. So it just happened to be Cosmo that I researched from.
Okay.
So let's talk about NXIVM. Have you ever heard about NXIVM?
No.
Okay. So NXIVM was a cult that started in 1998. And it was basically like a self-help organization. And they were there to like run classes and workshops on empowerment. And they actually ended up with 18,000 followers at least.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was really prevalent in North America until 2017. And in 2017, members actually started to come forward to blow the whistle on what was going on within the group, because it turns out there's a lot of abusive and secret practices within a secret society of the group.
Okay.
So they would recruit women under, like, just to say, like, oh, like, you're joining a sisterhood, this is a safe place. Nope, actually a sex cult. Yeah.
Not okay.
And it functioned as like kind of a pyramid scheme, and women a scheme, it was called a pyramid scheme, and it was called Rainier, and members called it Vanguard. So at the top there were masters, and the masters would recruit other women to this group. And these women, and I fucking hate this term being used loosely, but the women at the bottom of the group were referred to as slaves.
No.
Yeah. So they'd had like the slaves, with air quotes, would have to give their master naked photos and other compromising documents so that they'd have things that they could use to blackmail them if they ever like reported what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the initiation process was actually getting a small tattoo. And like it was what they were told was going to happen. But instead, they were made to undress, and then their master would brand them above their pelvic area.
Oh, fuck.
And every single woman who was branded would have to say, "Master, please brand me. It would be an honor."
Oh my god.
So sorry, Rainier, who was like the person at the top of this, not the name of the thing. His like Rainier was the guy who was like at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Thank fuck in 2020 he was tried in court.
Good.
And over a dozen women came forward to make statements regarding like the sexual and psychological abuse they had. And he was convicted of the following: sex trafficking, racketeering, and child pornography, because some victims were as young as 15 years old.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. If you want to learn more about it, there's actually 2 docuseries that are on that you can watch. One's called Seduced Inside the NXIVM Cult. And NXIVM is spelled NXIVM, which is called the NXIVM Cult, on Stars. I think you can actually watch Stars through Amazon Prime if you have a subscription. Same with Apple.
Okay.
And then there's The Vow, which is on HBO Max, aka Crave if you're in Canada. And this fucker, in a court filing, his lawyers wrote he is not sorry for his conduct or his choices.
For fuck's sakes.
Oh, yeah. Fucking wild. So next, let's talk about Children of God.
I've heard of them. Like, the
What's-
name's
what's-
familiar.
Well, initially, they were called Teens for Christ.
Okay.
So Children of God, it was actually founded in 1968 by what is described as a rogue preacher named David Berg, and this was in Huntington Beach, California. They mostly tried to recruit runaways and hippies. So runaways are obviously a vulnerable group. And they preached that they were religious, like they were Christian, like worshiping Jesus, but combining it with like the whole like free love notion that was like super huge in the 60s. Like it was really a societal movement. So they were in group living in isolated communities, and like that zealous behavior, like those were like really the pillars of their group.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up having around 15,000 people around the world participating in it, and they didn't go to work or go to school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They didn't believe in the mainstream family, what's called as like the nuclear family. Like the nuclear family, so like the mom, the dad, the kids, like that was very much like the family of the 50s. And still like the most mainstream family thing. Like you have your parental unit or units, and you have your dependents. But they didn't believe in that, so you'd have all the kids grouped together, and they'd live separately from their parents, which concerns me because that makes the kids more vulnerable to shit. So in the 70s, they became notorious for the sexual practices that were basically like, and I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. The way that the main guy described them were religious prostitution.
Ugh.
So he called it flirty fishing, which was a practice in which women would have sex with men to bring them into the cult.
Okay.
So they would use their bodies as forced sex workers to bring more people in.
Okay.
The Berg, like the preacher, promoted and the sexualization of children within the community, which is disgusting.
Yes.
And he was generally quite sadistic. And notably, Joaquin Phoenix and Rose McGowan actually both grew up in Children of God communes.
Oh, really?
And it took until the early 1990s for members to start, or former members to start coming forward to explain like what was really going on.
Oh, so sad. Such a long time.
Mm-hmm. Berg died in 1994, and he was actually under FBI investigation at the time. Unfortunately, the Children of God does still exist, but now goes under the name Family International. Ugh. And they claim that they're no longer participating in the same horrifying practices. And there's a documentary called Children of God on Netflix.
Okay.
Fucking crazy.
Gross.
Let's talk about what I think is one of the most notorious cults. Do you have a guess as to which it's going to be?
Jamestown.
The Manson family.
Yeah, of course.
So Charles Manson is fucking infamous.
Yes.
And it's been almost, 50 years? Yeah, it's all been almost 50 years. It's 45 years since he really went to town. He's like the quintessential cult leader. And his group started in San Fran in 1967. And in the same year, they ended up relocating to Los Angeles. And this fucking loser ended up trying to establish himself as a musician and failed. What a fuck. He was like obsessed with the song Helter Skelter, which was by the Beatles. And he repurposed it and started using the term Helter Skelter to describe what he referred to as a race war, which he thought would usher in the apocalypse. So in 1969, he sent a group of followers to a house in Benedict Canyon and told them to kill everyone inside, which is the most infamous thing. Oh, maybe it has been 50 years. It's 1969, 50 years ago? Oh my god, it was 53 years ago. Was it? I can't do math stuff.
Neither can I. I think so. Is it more?
Yeah, because 2029 is 60 years after 1969. So yeah, it's been 53 years. Jesus Christ. So obviously, the victims inside that house were quite famous. Sharon Tate, who was so young, and she was married to Roman Polanski, known criminal, and celebrity hairdresser Jay Sebring. The next night, they murdered Rosemary and Lena LaBianca in their house in Los Feliz. We speculate that Manson had the murders committed because he thought it would like get the whole Helter Skelter thing started. And some people speculate that the Tate house, like where Sharon was murdered, still belonged to someone who refused to give him a record deal. So they thought it was maybe like revenge. Some other people speculate that the murders were copycat murders, and it was copycat murders of someone who he was trying to get out of jail. So like by copycatting them, they would think like, oh, we have the wrong person. It's still happening.
Okay.
We don't know for sure. And regardless, it was kind of like at the time, like contemporary commenters kind of saw it as the end of the 1960s culture of free love because of how horrible it went.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts. I'm going to do one more and I'm going to cut it because I don't want to go too long.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Hello.
So this is the Fundamentalist Mormon movement. Have you ever watched the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes.
Fucking fantastic show based on this kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Milo.
Milo's at the door. Let me go get him.
Yeah, Milo needs to come in. No, it's okay. Okay, so I'll get started. So these fundies, they first emerged in the 20th century, and the whole point of it was so that they could easily practice and freely practice polygamy, because they were like, one spouse is not enough. Also, guys, like, that's okay. Like, just practice polyamory. Not for me, but I think there's a lot of healthy people who are doing it, and don't be a weirdo. Just do polyamory if you're going to be into more than one person at once, and do it, you know, respectfully and consciously.
I'm back.
So I was just talking about how Latter-day Saints started in the early 20th century so that they could practice polyamory. Or polygamy, not polyamory. One is fine, one is not. Things took a hard left turn when Warren Jeffs assumed leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in 2002. Within a week, he had married almost all his father's wives and decreed himself responsible for arranging marriages within the cult. So he was basically like, I am the king. I will decide who marries who. And this included, unfortunately, marriages between people and underage girls.
Gross.
Fortunately, I guess, like, I don't know if that's the right word. Like, things caught up for him pretty quick, because in 2005, he was charged with sexual assault on a minor, along with other crimes. And he then had a warrant out for his arrest. In 2011, he ended up being sentenced for sexually assaulting underage girls. And he actually referred to these girls as his wives. If they are underage, they cannot be a wife because they cannot consent. He is currently serving a life plus 20-year sentence, and he is in Texas, and he's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are some horrifying cults. We'll go into some more in a different episode, but now I'm going to turn it over to you, Steve. Steve, did you have a cult that you wanted to join?
Yeah, it's called the Church of Emma.
Church of Emma.
No. So, are you ready to choose your own adventure again?
Oh, yeah, that's right. 5.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. You've got 1 to 4.
5. I know. 1.
Okay, this is a fun one.
Okay. Is it going to have haunting dolls waving at me? Because last time I chose interestingly.
So, I'm going to do the creepy fact that I've chosen for that one. So, your creepy fact of the episode is fatal familial insomnia is a rare, incurable bionic brain disease.
This terrifies me.
So, this brain disease...
I hate this.
It progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually, you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. It is like one of my nightmares.
Very gross. So this fact, I got it from the website Bored Panda. Yay!
Oh, thanks, Bored Panda. Now I'm not bored, I'm terrified.
All right, so I am doing something a little different. So I am going to talk about a creature from French Canadian and European culture, specifically France. But it has other associations like within like the US and all of that. So specifically, I'm going to talk about le Lu Garu. So people may know Lu Garu as a werewolf or a lycanthrope.
It's my favorite French word, Lu Garu.
So there's a difference between a loup-garou and a werewolf, specifically where the loup-garou story comes from, and it's a bit less violent than a werewolf. So today we're going to focus on the French Canadian folklore story a bit. So a loup-garou, it is a human that changes into animal form, commonly changes into a wolf, but Milo is scratching the carpet.
Milo is actually a loup-garou. He's like, this is what they sound like in nature.
Let me pause myself, tell him to stop. One moment, please.
Elevator music, because Milo is being a shit. This is the reality of having dogs. If you're not ready for your dog to be wild, probably shouldn't have a dog.
Okay, he went to sleep.
Oh, good.
So, commonly it changes into a wolf, but in French Canadian culture, a loup-garou can change into a dog, a small calf. How do we say that? Calf? Calf.
Like a baby cow, a calf?
Words are going to be especially hard since I do have French words into the story, so.
Ah oui, loup-garou.
It's going to be harder today.
It's fine.
An ox, owl, cat, or pig. So, the legend of the loup-garou made its way into Quebec folklore, specifically in the 17th century when people from France started to immigrate over here. And they started sharing their stories of their version of the loup-garou, which is a lycanthrope. And it's just the same word in English, so lycanthrope, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But as these stories started to mix and all of that, there's a difference with the Quebec loup-garou is that it is, which is not surprising as it is Quebec, it is based on Catholic morality.
Oh, of course.
So basically,
Tabernacle.
someone who is not a good Christian or has religious shortcomings of some sort will be cursed to become a loup-garou. So specifically, the crimes that you can commit are the sins. If you didn't confess, if you didn't attend Mass, if you didn't participate in Lent, or if you lived a life considered sinful by the church. Another
if you're
way
bad,
to become a loup-garou is if you sell your soul to the devil. So you got two ways. You got choices, people. So every night, the cursed individual automatically transfers into an animal of the choice of the curse, and they are forced to live as that animal every night, not able to control their animalistic impulses until the curse is broken. So there's about three ways you can break a curse. So either you let it run its course, and it's said to last over 101 days. Once you've passed your 101 days, apparently you're done with it. I'm not sure. And the articles I've read, they didn't really elaborate on that. Okay. But maybe you just wait it out and you're done. Maybe. Yeah. Another way someone can be saved from the curse is if someone that they know recognizes them when they are in their loup-garou form and find a way to draw blood from the loup-garou. Once the blood is drawn, the person will turn back into their human form. And to make sure that the curse is broken for good, the two individuals have to agree to never speak of the events ever again in fear of suffering graver consequences than the curse. Now, would you like to know how to hunt a loup-garou?
I'm guessing it has something to do with silver.
No.
Okay, well, sure.
Step 1. If you suspect someone is a loup-garou, you have to take note of their behavior at night. Do they leave at the same time every night? And do they disappear for the entirety of the night? Once you've identified that they have suspicious behavior, you need to track the loup-garou in its animal form and wound that animal. The next time you see the person you think is a loup-garou, you have to check if the person is hurt in the same area that you've hurt the animal in. If they are both hurt in the same area, confirm that person is a loup-garou. All right?
Okay.
Once you have identified your loup-garou, you have to track them the next time that they leave at night so you can see them and confirm in their loup-garou form again. So once they're in that Lu Garu, you either trace a cross on their forehead where they would have been baptized, or hit them in the spot in that same baptized to draw some blood.
Okay, so find the Lu Garu. So you find them, you stalk them, and you bitch slap them on the forehead.
Where they've been baptized.
Yeah, so you bitch slap them on the baptism. So okay,
you hit them there, or you draw some blood, and then you can do so. If you wish to draw blood, you need to use a gun that is filled with either twigs, bullets blessed in holy water, or a rosary. Those are your options. Are we clear?
Yeah, we are clear. Okay, religious symbol, very cool.
So that's how you track one, hunt one. One story that is kind of this is apparently the first account of a loup-garou in Quebec. So this is story. So André is an apprentice as a hunter and a trapper, and he's apprenticing with des bois, which is what's a coureur des bois in English?
Like a coureur, like a runner of the woods?
Basically a hunter and a trapper, I guess.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So he is hanging out with this guy named Hubert Sauvageau, and André is learning his... So Hubert is teaching André everything he knows, but he doesn't tell him his one secret, that Hubert is actually a loup-garou.
Oh no! Secret wolf! Oh no!
So one night, André is sleeping at the camp that him and Hubert made, and they're joined by this stranger who just... Leo. So Leo and André are all sleeping, and suddenly they wake up to a loup-garou attacking their camp and trying to attack them. André has his good luck charm on him and throws it at the loup-garou, and it happens to hit the loup-garou in the middle of the forehead, and that charm cuts him. So as the blood drips down, the loup-garou turns back into Hubert. Hubert thanks them for breaking the curse, and they all agree to never talk it again. Someone broke their promise because we know about it.
Yeah.
So that is basically the version of the loup-garou in French Canadian culture.
I love that it involves bitch slapping on the baptism. That is the most Quebec thing I've heard all day. That's also the nickname we use for Louis sometimes.
Yes, Loulou le loup-garou.
Loulou le loup-garou.
Sorry, there's a lot of French in there.
Don't be sorry for French. French is a gift. Listen, don't ever be sorry for being French. Don't ever. Well, shit, guys.
Yeah, guys.
Stay safe.
I don't know why I keep saying guys today.
Gang.
Lovely people.
Folks.
You know, sorry.
Our gays, theys, and flambés. We love you.
Our lovely humans who listen to us and encourage us. We love you.
We love you.
We
Anyways,
you.
Stay safe. Don't be racist.
See you next week.
And bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Creepy Vibes Only. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Creepy Vibes Only Podcast. And you can send us an email at cvopodcast@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen, download our episodes, and please leave us a review, ideally a really nice one. Thanks for vibing and keeping it creepy with us. We will see you next week. Bye!
Elevator music because Milo is being a shit.
Hey, it's Dean and Red, and we're the host of Essentially on the Rocks, a podcast built for after the 9 to 5.
Yes, when being professional is no longer required.
Come hang out with us. We drink whiskey, craft beer, talk shit, and laugh.
We mostly talk shit to each other's face.
And you did drink that wine I got you pretty fucking fast.
I accept this, but don't act like you don't get smashed on $2 moonshine.
We don't talk about that. Join us on Essentially on the Rocks.
New episodes released monthly.